All right, Ben, my man, how we doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man, no worries. Glad to have you. Glad it worked out. Obviously, before we jump into your story, I have a very pressing question. And this is a
Let's hear it.
question. It's kind of going to go off script a little bit because the first question that was proposed that I ask you talked about Tennessee football. I don't really care too much about that.
Mhm.
What I really want to know is, and a lot of people want to know this, what exactly? Obviously, you've been playing for Rocket City, all right? They are the trash pandas, but everybody has
Mhm.
their own definition of what a trash panda is. I need to know from a player, what is a trash panda?
I'm gonna be completely honest. I don't think anyone on the team has any idea what it means. Um, but all I know is they did the greatest thing ever making that name because I mean everybody knows about the Trash Pandas. Like for a minor league team, it's been pretty crazy. Just everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, play for the Trash Pandas." Like I've never seen that much hype around a minor league team, but I really have no idea what it
Ben
is, but I love it, and it was fun to play for them. So
Daniel will tell you that I've had this hat since that team was created, and it just so happens it's autographed on top by Houston Harding when he played there last year. But I bought
mhm.
this hat just because, like you said, like it was like the logo was awesome, the name was awesome. I was all about it.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I got some of their merchandise just from being there because I just thought it was so cool, and I just wanted to have some. I mean, it's super catchy, and all their stuff's really cool. So
The whole like minor league like mascot, like there's no better mascot names than in minor league baseball. Like it's they're all legit and they're all marketable, and I think that's the whole point. Um, you know, with the trash pandas, I was talking to Jim about this. I feel like there's no exact definition of what exactly it is. I think it's just like a way of life. It's like an experience. Like it's like you don't know it unless you're in it. So, maybe one day I'll get to experience Rocket City and what that's all about, man. But
I'm
obviously,
gonna be there on dollar beer, dollar hot dog night. Bank
yeah,
on
oh
it.
yeah. Hey, the
he-
way you put it, that's actually a great way to put it. Like you don't know about it until you're there. But the games are awesome. They're a lot of fun, and the atmosphere is pretty cool. So you definitely need to experience it.
yeah, for sure. I'm a baseball guy. I'd love nothing more than to visit Rocket City and experience everything that goes into that. But speaking of experiences, man, you're a University of Tennessee guy. University of Tennessee just had maybe the biggest win to date
Mhm.
in history. They took down Alabama. It was in Knoxville. Did you happen to be at the game or have an opportunity to go to the game, or were you just watching along with all the other Vol fans on TV?
Yeah, I got the chance to go. That was awesome. I mean, I've been a Tennessee fan my whole life. I was 6 years old the last time we beat Alabama, so it was awesome to be a part of that. And I think that was probably, I mean, a top three college football game ever. So it was pretty crazy to get to go there and watch that.
Yeah, I mean, as a not a fan of Tennessee, but just having the opportunity to watch that game, it was very entertaining, very good game, and you could tell it was against two of the best teams out there. I mean, obviously,
Hmm.
you can turn on the TV on a Saturday and watch a number of different teams play, but those two teams are different than most. And you
Hmm.
saw that on Showcase. You got to see a regular season matchup against two powerhouses that are going to have something big to play for at the end of the season. You can tell. Um,
Daniel, I tell you a question I got for Ben is, what were you rocking? Because Drew Beam goes all out. Daniel, I know you're not a big social media guy. You got to go check out what Cheese was wearing. It looks like it looks like a skirt, which I asked him about, and now he actually wants to get a Tennessee checkerboard kilt. He thinks that will be
Oh my
absolutely fly.
goodness.
But these guys all come rocked out. So I mean, what were you wearing? Were you just wearing normal stuff, or did you go all out?
I mean, I was just wearing normal. I was wearing an orange polo, orange hat, then just some normal shorts. I wasn't quite as crazy as Chad. I got to see him at the game. His outfit was awesome.
when
Yeah,
we
I
talk
wasn't quite that outgoing, but I was
Yeah,
wearing my orange for sure.
when we talk about, the trash pandas being an experience, I think Chad Dallas is an experience. Like he
Yeah.
is like he marches to the beat of his own drum. I mean, obviously we had him on, not too long ago, and the guy's showing up with a cut off denim button down, just just looking like exactly the way you would picture him to look. But I don't want to get off the topic and get on cheese. I want to talk about throwing cheese, and I want to talk about you in particular, man. But before we, dive into, the career, we got to go back to where you're from, man. So tell us a little bit about where
Mhm.
you're from.
Yeah, so I was born in Knoxville, Tennessee. I actually have an identical twin. We were born in Knoxville, Tennessee, and then we moved for a year to New York, upstate New York, and then moved to Maryland for a few years, and then I moved back to Knoxville when I was about 7. So I've pretty much lived in Knoxville my whole life for most of what I can remember. I mean, I've always been a Tennessee fan growing up, and it was always kind of a dream to play at Tennessee. But yeah, I mean, grew up mostly in Knoxville, have an identical twin, 2 parents. Mom is Joni Joyce, dad is Alan Joyce. 2 dogs. Just kind of, it was just us 4 normally growing up in Knoxville.
So with the twin brother, who's older and by how
I'm
long?
older by 4 minutes. Got a little bragging rights there.
I bet that holds a lot in that house.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we were competing in everything. Like we'd measure our height every week, see who was taller. Like just literally, it was awesome just having that to grow up with, just having someone to compete with every day. I think that helped a lot.
So when you're competing, is baseball the sport growing up, or did you play multiple sports?
Honestly, we kind of played everything we could growing up. Basketball, we played some football, swimming, just kind of whatever we could get into just to be outside. We loved being outside and just doing anything. But I think baseball was kind of always our favorite. We kind of gravitated towards that, but when we were younger, we kind of tried to do everything.
Gotcha. So as a kid growing up, you know, from Knoxville, move around a little bit, you come back to Knoxville, but you know, living out there, who are you following? Like, who's your favorite athlete at the time?
For me, I've always been a big Max Scherzer fan growing up. He was kind of my favorite pitcher to watch. Clayton Kershaw was a big one as well. We were big football fans. Our team's the Steelers, so we would always be into that. But I mean, baseball was always Max Scherzer was the name that sticks out for me. Just kind of the way that he was all fiery on the mound and just watching him go up there and do his thing was awesome. Whenever we lived, that was actually my first game I went to was a Nationals game when he was with them. So that was kind of always my favorite guy growing up.
I just felt my age a little bit. Um, you mentioned your favorite player who is still playing.
Yeah.
Might I add, like Jim and I, Mike, you're young enough to where you could probably relate to him, and
We're the
your
same age.
favorite, your favorite player probably is still playing. Jim and I's favorite player ain't been playing for a long ass time. So that's pretty cool. Max Scherzer, obviously Clayton Kershaw, two of the best. You know, with them being your idols, are you trying to be a pitcher because of them, or you're already like, baseball's my thing, like I already know that I'm going to be pretty good at this and I just want to pitch? Or was it because of them watching what they do, you're like, that's what I want to do?
Honestly, I think it's kind of a mix of both. Like I always wanted to kind of be like that. I always wanted to be like the big guy, like future Hall of Famer guy. But I mean, I never really had that talent growing up. Like I wasn't ever like one of the best guys or sticking out growing up. So it was kind of, I guess it was something I aspired to be, but I kind of wanted to be a pitcher just because it's what I love to do at the same time. I fell in love with that ever since Kid Pitch started. That was kind of my favorite thing.
So you fell in love with baseball. You kind of mimic your game. You start having two idols that are obviously the best. During this time, you're getting ready to make your way into high school. What high school did you attend?
I went to Farragut High School in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's a pretty well known baseball program around East Tennessee. So that was awesome to we kind of got started in the program in middle school. The Farragut Middle School program kind of feeds into the high school one, and just kind of getting that culture and seeing guys like Nicky Delmonico, Nick Senzel, a lot of big names that went through Farragut. It was just kind of cool to have those role models every day and see what they did to get to where they are. And I mean, the culture there just kind of really helped prepare me for everything that came after that.
Is Farragut a traditional high school, or is it a private school, or
It's just a traditional public high school.
gotcha? So
Daniel, I got you one for I was looking at notable alumni. Chris Moneymaker, World Series poker champion.
yeah, he's from
Oh, wow.
Knoxville. Yeah, that's when like poker just started like blowing up. Like Chris Moneymaker wins the World Series of Poker. I think he won like $1 million and maybe 10. I don't know, but like the prize pool now is like ridiculous. But um, obviously, you spend some time at Farragut. Farragut, you said was it was a middle school that fed into the high school. Did I hear that correctly?
Yes. Yeah, it was. I mean, we kind of, once you made the middle school team, you were kind of on track to eventually be on the high school team.
Did you have like eighth graders playing on the high school team, or was that not allowed?
No, we didn't have that. The Farragut actually had a like freshman team, a JV team, and a varsity team. So it was mostly just. I mean, there was no eighth graders ever going up to high school.
Gotcha. So, I hear stories of like, I'm in Florida, so like in Tampa we have private schools that have that middle, like it's middle school feeding into the high school, but you have like eighth graders that are playing varsity level with 10th and 11th and 12th graders. And usually those eighth graders, when you run it through fruition, they end up being like top recruits in the country when it's all said and done. So it's interesting to see how you guys um, had the system going. But obviously you had like an amazing like growth spurt, like an 8-inch growth spurt your senior year. How did it feel like, from like, what was the comparison and the feeling from one year on the bump and then the next year 8 inches taller, where other teams like, holy shit, who is this guy? Like what happened here?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, even going back into middle school and younger, I was always one of the smaller guys, and I mean, I was always probably the hardest worker, but I was always one of the smaller guys, so I never really got to see anything come out of that hard work. I was just kind of trying to eventually like get something out of it. And I mean, going into high school, I was on JV my freshman sophomore year and made varsity my junior year, and then I didn't pitch much, and then going into my senior year, I kind of hit that growth spurt. And I was almost like I was a completely different person. Like I remember coming back from summer break and everyone was like, "What the heck happened to you?" kind of thing. And then finally, I think I hit like 92 my senior year, and everyone was like, "Who is this kid? Like, where did this come from?" Because I think the year before I was throwing like 83. So it just kind of was a pretty drastic jump. And then the summer after my senior year, I was up to 95, and that was kind of when it started to get exciting. Like finally seeing some of the hard work pay off, and seeing actual results coming from everything I've been going through for the last couple of years.
Now,
Yeah.
DB, I didn't want to intrude, but I saw this question when Jim was writing it up, and as a brother who's still only 5'9" on a good day, Ben, I do got to ask you, what did happen that summer? Was there something in the water? Is there a chance for me if I go down to Knoxville right now and just start eating?
If there was something in the water, I didn't know about it, but I don't. I was just eating a bunch of food and just trying to put on weight as much as I could, and then all of a sudden it was just kind of like the blink of an eye, and it happened. It was like 8 inches in 1 year. So yeah, I don't know what happened, but it was a pretty crazy year for me. Just kind of the transformation that happened.
Did you get a lot taller than your brother?
No, it was actually kind of crazy. We hit the growth spurt pretty much the exact same time. Like we were always just kind of growing together. But yeah, I'd say I'm maybe like an inch taller than him, but it was pretty much the same the whole way.
It's another one of those cases where these guys come on the show and they have all these genetics and they just take them all and they hoard them. They don't pass it to us regular
I mean,
folk.
just a couple inches is all we're asking for, Daniel. Not much.
Just one or
Yeah.
two, man. I just want to be
Yeah.
6 foot.
Yeah.
It's actually funny. Like if you saw my parents, you'd never know. I mean, my mom and dad are both like 5'8", 5'9". So it was always I was always trying to like get up to the same level as my dad, and then all of a sudden I shot up way past him, and I don't know how it happened.
Well, I mean, you shoot up 8 inches. Obviously, you're cutting distance from the mound to the plate significantly from one year to the next. You jump up from 83, you jump 11 miles an hour, you're throwing 94, 95 eventually, and then your senior year you help the Admirals lead them to the state playoffs, and then most notably that season you get clocked at throwing 100. So Ben, when you throw 100, is it a difference in who is noticing you in colleges, or was it the same colleges when you were hitting 92, 93 as you were when you hit 100?
Yeah, well, I didn't hit 100 until after that season, so it's kind of too late to go to a different college. I was already committed to Walter State at that point. But you definitely could feel like the attention kind of rising. There were still teams reaching out, and even some professional scouts, which was pretty crazy to me considering I almost didn't even play baseball in college. It was kind of like a connection that got me to Walter State. And so yeah, it was kind of crazy to see that transformation and the attention come with it from different colleges. And then I mean, even in junior college, the attention from bigger schools was pretty crazy.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you this. That would have been a shame. A guy like you with no place to play. And had I been coaching at University of Tampa like I had been, let me find a guy throwing 95 with no place to play. I'll quickly find you a place to play. But man, obviously you said you committed, earlier before you were throwing 100, to Walter State, and I bet Walter State was like, "Oh shit, man, we just hit the jackpot with this guy." I mean, he was throwing this, now he's throwing that. Man, like, what was it about Walter State where you were like, "Man, that's the place for me," or was like a lot of stops in the JUCO, it's just a pit stop, and it's to catapult you to wherever you're going to go next. You just need a place to figure out where that next is.
That's kind of how I saw it. Honestly, it's kind of like a pit stop. Like I need these 2 years to develop and actually get to pitch, because I really didn't throw many innings in high school, so I needed to actually pitch and actually just kind of figure out some things there. But it was pretty exciting to know that I had 2 extra years to just kind of develop and put what I could into my body and just really try to make the most out of those 2 years, and then end up at Tennessee, which was a dream come true.
Without a doubt. And obviously, before we get into everything going on with Tennessee, your first year as a true freshman, Ben, you don't see any playing action. You don't see any playing time. Nothing really goes the way you want it to, but you're throwing 100 miles per hour. Can you kind of explain to us kind of what went into that and why you think you didn't see as much playing time as you typically would now?
Yeah, well, I actually had a stress fracture in my elbow the fall before my freshman year there, and I couldn't throw for, I think it was 5 months, and then I had to do it was basically like the Tommy John throwing program after that. So I kind of used that year to build up my body as much as I could, lifting weights and nutrition and everything. And I think that was honestly the best thing that could have happened for me, because I think what I got out of that with my body and training and getting my arm where it needs to be, I think kind of led up to the next couple of years after that.
Without a doubt, UCL injuries, DB, are very dangerous. Ben, if you might not get that one, but I get ragged on here pretty often. But so your sophomore year, obviously, a lot of people do say after typical elbow injuries, you come out pumping, you come out a lot stronger than the years prior. you go bananas. I mean, you go absolutely insane. You have posted a 3-1 record with a 4.79 ERA and struck out 35 batters in 20.2 innings before COVID hit. One of the biggest things, you know, whether it be learning from coaches or whether it be something you learned about yourself, what would you say you took away from your time at Walters, and what was that season really like for you?
I think for me, it was awesome just getting out there and getting the pitch and show people what I've really worked for all those years, and never really got to actually get to pitch just because of injuries and growth spurts and a bunch of stuff that was going on. So it just kind of showed me how much I loved pitching and how much I enjoyed the game of baseball. And it really kind of helped me solidify, like, this is what I want to do with my life. And I want to, like, pursue professional baseball after this, just because I realized, like, I can do this and I'm good enough to play at the next level. But it was an awesome year. It was sad that it had to get cut short because of COVID, because I mean, that team was pretty good, and I think we would have made the Junior College World Series. That would have been an awesome experience. But I mean, it really makes you appreciate things a lot more playing at a junior college and then going to a school like Tennessee. It just makes you appreciate it a lot more, and just realize just kind of like why you're playing the game of baseball. It's not always glamorous there, but you're playing it because you love the game and you want to get to the next level.
Without a doubt. And, you know, one of the biggest things, and it's DB has mentioned it many times to me, you know, it's not just about baseball and sports, it's about life. You can go from being, you know, a nobody who doesn't have a spot on a diamond to having all the offers in the world. So following that season, if you could, I mean, you don't got to sit here and, you know, go down your list of flexes, but how many teams truly did reach out to you about committing somewhere else? And what were those conversations really like?
Yeah, there was quite a few in that fall leading up to that sophomore season. It was pretty awesome to just kind of know, like, I finally made it to the level where I'm having these options now, where I can kind of choose where I want to spend the next few years. But I think for me, it was kind of, I always knew I wanted to go to Tennessee, and when I saw the campus, and I mean, I've seen it plenty of times, but I kind of got a more, like, in-depth look at the campus and met the coaching staff. I was like, this is where I want to go. And it was kind of an easy choice for me. But it was exciting when it kind of picked up on the recruiting trail, for sure.
Without a doubt. And that was actually our next question, was kind of talking about, you know, the process in picking Tennessee. But to kind of further that, how much of it did matter that's the hometown? That's exactly where you want to be. That's exactly what you always dreamed. You know, how was that really understanding, like, yo, this is where I'm at and I'm going to be a part of Tennessee history?
Yeah, that was huge for me. And I mean, when I was getting recruited by them, it was, I mean, talking to Coach Vitello, I knew he wanted to change things there, and they'd already started changing it. I mean, the year I was getting recruited, they made it to the regional, lost to North Carolina in the finals of the regional. So I mean, that was completely different from when I'm growing up, going to camps there. And I mean, there's 200 people there for an SEC series, and then now they're selling out midweek games. It was just crazy to see the transformation, and know that I was gonna potentially be a part of that was a big thing for me going to Tennessee.
Without a doubt.
So, Mike, man, you know, I don't know if you heard on the last episode, but I'm gonna tell Ben, man, when Tommy White comes on here and says that Tony Vitello was sitting in his living room, I immediately thought I would just commit right there to Tennessee. But my man, thankfully, because I'm an LSU fan, my man thankfully went down to Baton Rouge, spent a weekend there, and didn't even go to Knoxville, which maybe, you know, secretly, Ben, I think there might have been something to that. I think Tommy, you know, he may not have said it, but I think he knows that if he would have went to Knoxville, he might have committed there. So he went ahead and did LSU before he had to really put his brain to the test, because being around that campus, being around Tony V, being around the players on that team, I don't know, man. That's a tough picking between LSU and Tennessee is something.
I really think Coach Vitello is one of a kind. It's awesome to see how he does his business, and I mean, I think Knoxville's awesome. I might be a little biased there, but
no,
I mean, I think it's one of a kind.
We talk about him constantly. We obviously have had him on this show. He's actually number 3, I believe, on our charts. But you know, if he ran for mayor tomorrow, Ben, is he getting elected?
Oh my gosh, he could do anything in the city, literally anything. But yeah, he's getting elected if he runs for mayor, 100%.
So you talked about it when you were at Walters and you started talking about the lifting. One of the things this past season at Tennessee that I was reading up on you, and I actually was like kind of discrediting some of it, Ben. I couldn't believe it because just when I know all these baseball players, I see their workout routines, and when I see the weight that you're lifting, I see the lifts that you're doing. Like you talked about it started back then, like you don't have necessarily the normal baseball player mentality in the weight room. What gives you that drive to lift heavy and work so hard?
I think for me, it started just kind of back in middle school and even before, when I was always one of the smaller guys trying to make the team. I mean, I barely made the middle school team, barely made the high school team, was on JV for 2 years, and then just battling through injuries and stuff. And it just kind of puts that chip on your shoulder, and it makes you really want to work even harder to prove yourself. And I mean, prove it to others, but also just prove it to yourself. Like you can do this crazy thing. Like, I mean, I never thought about throwing a ball 105, but like I never would have doubted it if you asked me when I was in sixth grade. Like I was like, why can't I do that? Like, I mean, I'm gonna push myself every day to try to do something like that.
Absolutely. So in the weight room, like you can pick one lift. What's your favorite lift?
I think for me, it's probably deadlift. I think it's one thing that's correlated the most for me into baseball. And I just feel like it's kind of like one of those lifts where you can really gain some power from it.
What's your highest max ever?
My highest max ever was, I think, 655 for 3, maybe. I think that was the most I've ever done. I never like just done one rep. I don't know what I could get there.
Daniel, what's yours? Because you're the CrossFit guru.
400, man.
You lie.
You a damn lie.
Man, I think his profile picture has him doing more than 400. He's so full of it.
It ain't. It ain't. This ain't about me. Ain't
Look. He did, Ben. I think
me.
he just didn't want to say more weight than you. I think that's what just happened. But it's all
It's
good.
okay.
So, you get to Knoxville, we talk about it. It's where you're from. It's the school you wanted to go to. When you get there, I mean, what's the emotion like? Is it surreal that you're actually there, as a student at University of Knoxville coming from Walters, like you said, didn't think you were even going to play college baseball?
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty crazy feeling. I remember calling my dad one of the first days there after practice. I was just sitting on the field, like just sitting there, like I cannot believe I'm here right now. Like after all of this, and I'm finally here where I've always wanted to be. And I mean, my ultimate dream is obviously to play professional baseball, but like this is obviously a big goal for me to be at Tennessee and just being there and being a part of the team, and knowing that I was in a position to play a decently big role on the team was really exciting for me, and something that I kind of had to sit back for a second and just think about like how crazy it was that I was there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Mike, when I asked Ben this question, brace yourself. So freshman season, Ben, you redshirt because you're coming off surgery. For those who don't know, what was the injury and what was the surgery?
I had a stress fracture in my elbow. I did not have to get surgery, but that was I had a stress fracture in my elbow.
You did not have surgery. Man, I tell you what, I read reports that said that you did have to have Tommy John. Maybe I was wrong.
Oh, I had Tommy John my first year at Tennessee.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. So during
Okay.
yeah, so coming in that, and then you redshirted because of that, correct?
Yes. I had tore my UCL in our first scrimmage of the fall. I had to get Tommy John.
What?
Yeah.
What? Can you repeat that again? What did you tear?
My UCL.
It's a running joke, and he won't get it. But
I don't understand like why everybody's. I don't know. It's funny. I don't know. I don't get it. Ben, do you get it? Hey, Ben, do you get the joke?
Yeah,
I do not.
I don't get the joke either.
I don't even remember what player it was that we had on here now.
It was you know what's ironic? It was Preston.
That was Preston Johnson, who's now having Tommy John. Okay, then.
Crazy. World's a cold place when you make fun of someone.
so what's the recovery time like? I know it's different, Ben. Obviously medically there's advances. It also depends on the tear, if it comes off the bone, all the things. Sometimes it could be 8 months, sometimes it could be 14. What was the timeline on your recovery?
For me, I started lifting at 3 months. I started tossing at 5 months. And I think I threw in my first scrimmage at 9 or 10 months.
Are
So I was back in games at around 10 months.
Ben, are doctors telling you anything about like you have a stress fracture and you rehab and you're able to come back. You then have Tommy John. Is anybody at some point going, hey man, like you may not be what you were when this is all said and done, just
Oh,
because you're out there lifting, you're out there throwing max effort. I mean,
mhm.
you got velocity, you're a big dude. Like, is that ever like a thought in your mind that, am I gonna be able to do what I did previous?
Yeah, 100%. I think that's the hardest part of the whole rehab process is just kind of getting it through your head that you can be the same or better than before. You don't have to be worried about. I mean, if you're just thinking about injuring yourself again, it's going to be really hard to go out there and enjoy playing. So I think that's kind of the hardest thing. And I mean, there's people telling you like just prepare yourself like it could like some people just don't feel the same after. Like you hear stories. I mean, there's definitely that outside noise, but you just kind of, I think that's the one thing you just gotta kind of get that out of your head and tell yourself like you can come back and you can continue to do the things that you enjoy to do, like lift heavy and I mean go out there and throw max effort because if you're not doing those things, you're not enjoying it, then really what's the point of playing?
Yeah, so you redshirt that year, but you absolutely have the best seat in the house to an absolutely amazing season. You know, I want to know a few different things, a few different questions about the 2021 season in which, Tennessee obviously made the run to Omaha. Just right off the top, man, do you remember what your favorite series was?
I think for me the LSU one was pretty crazy.
Mm.
That was
Y'all made my coach cry, Ben. Come on, man.
Oh, he's
that, that
Good
was
he's
a
your
job,
pretty
man.
he's your coach now.
Well, he's not LSU's coach anymore, but at that time, yeah, he was my coach.
It's crazy. I wonder why he left.
Look, they say, Daniel, that if you wear the jersey as a fan, you're part of the team. Okay, so he's my coach. All right. So, was there a favorite game? And I have an idea that you may say what I think, but what was your favorite game, favorite moment of that season?
I mean, I think it's kind of everyone's favorite moment. It has got to be that Wright State Grand Slam. I mean, that was probably the most surreal baseball moment I've ever experienced.
I've watched about 20 different versions on TikTok of that 1 billion times, and I'm not exaggerating. Daniel and Mike can confirm. I never get tired of it.
Jim is all of the views of those TikToks.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
hey,
No, I
hey,
mean it's literally one of those things where I think I could watch it, just never get tired of it.
Ben, I'll ask you because we've asked all the guys to. Did you guys look past Wright State just a little bit?
No, I honestly like we kind of when we got that regional draw, we were we were all kind of like, wow, like that is probably one of the better teams we could be playing right now. Like it was kind of we knew we got a tough draw for that regional and I mean looking at their stats, everyone's hitting like 330, 340, 360. Like they I mean, we knew they were gonna be a good team. So I don't think we looked past them, but I think it was kind of one of those like I don't know. It was just like kind of supposed to be a game like that. I feel like it was like we had to win, and we ended up coming out with that at the end. But I mean, that was something I'll never forget for the rest of my life for sure.
Ben, really quick, I want to loosen you up a little bit, bro. You can be real. Like you didn't overlook them. Yeah, they bat 340. You throw over 100. Just say it, bro. Like you weren't worried. You weren't tripping about
But he
it.
wasn't getting it. He was a spectator, so I mean,
It's
he got a
all
Yeah,
different view.
it's all
yeah.
good. Ben was not worried. We weren't worried, DB.
I
Next question.
And so with that, hey, I'm gonna put, it's funny that Mike says loosen you up. We ask all the guys because we've had so many Tennessee players. We make y'all answer the uncomfortable questions. If I had to ask you who your favorite player to watch from that team was, who is it? Pitcher
I'm
or
honestly
hitter?
gonna have to say Sean Hunley. I mean, that dude just went out there every single game, and no one could hit him. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, Sean's a guest of the show. He's absolutely legend. He's fiery, all you guys are, but as pitchers. But yeah, he has that fire and energy that you have on the mound. So I could see why you'd pick him on top of the fact that he pitched so well. So 2022 comes, y'all obviously came up short in Omaha, but all this talent that y'all have, You were there, so we know how hungry you are. But the difference between, this past year and the year before is everybody knows about you. You're no longer the hunter, you're the hunted. So, let me ask you honestly, did you expect going into that season, even though y'all were hungry, even though you had a talent, did you expect to be that damn good?
No, not at all. I mean, I want to be like, yeah, I thought we were gonna be the best team ever, but like I didn't think it was be like that. That was the craziest thing I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, no doubt. And so for you individually, you had a 2-1 record with a 2.23 ERA in 32 and a third innings with 53 strikeouts. You got action right out the gate opening weekend on that Sunday against Georgia Southern. How did it feel, man, to toe the rubber finally in Lindsey Nelson in that Tennessee uniform?
Oh my gosh, my adrenaline was out of the roof. I felt like I couldn't even feel my legs. It was like I felt like I've been waiting for this for my entire life, and then I'm only being 2 pitches and I got a ground out. But I mean, it was awesome to be up there for the first time and just kind of experience the crowd, because it was, I think I want to say it was sold out. So it was awesome to finally get up there and wear the Tennessee jersey in an actual game and be pitching.
Yeah, and then talking about something, huge and monumental, I actually went and saw y'all in the Shriners Classic. So, talk about toeing the rubber at Lindsey Nelson, but next thing you know, you're at Minute Maid Park pitching against Baylor in Oklahoma. What was that like?
Yeah, that was awesome. I was really glad we got to do that and experience that big league stadium. And I mean, playing against Texas there was an awesome atmosphere. It felt like, honestly, like a true road game against Texas there. And then Baylor and Oklahoma games were awesome. I mean, just that whole experience was really cool. And just kind of seeing that different perspective, like that big stadium, it was kind of cool to feel that, be on the mound and just kind of look around and see how big that stadium was.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely puts a different perspective, and obviously now a journey that you're on to be playing in those on the regular, hopefully. But let's talk about one of the biggest stories in baseball, not just college, but even professional. On May 1st, you got clocked at 105.5 miles per hour. You've consistently all season thrown 103, 104. I've seen you in person do it numerous times, but you took it to a whole nother level. But my question for you, and does it feel the same, or did you happen to know? Like, is it one of those things that it's just the radar gun told you, or did you happen to know that you threw the ball harder than normal?
That's a great question.
Honestly, it was definitely the radar gun that told me, because I came back in after that inning, and I mean, I had no clue. I just remember I came in and Jared Dickey was like, "Hey man, you're throwing pretty hard today," and I was like, "Oh yeah, I mean, it feels good. I'm feeling great." Like, I think that was like my 3rd inning of work or something. And I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm feeling pretty good." And he was like, "No, like, you're throwing pretty hard. Like, I think you might have like broken a record or something." And I thought he was just joking. So I just kind of laughed and shook it off and went out there and threw the rest of the game. And then after the game, they told me like it was like 105.5. And I mean, I would have never known if they didn't tell me.
And Ben, for you, in all seriousness, do your coaches at the beginning of, you topping 105 ever have that conversation with you about, hey, maybe don't do this as frequently, or did they support it with the Tommy John stuff?
I mean, they were definitely cautious with me, but they were never like, "Hey, don't do this." It was kind of, they knew that was just kind of the picture that I was going to be, and they didn't really want to try to like hold me back at all. So, yeah, it was more just like, be more with arm care, like with your body to prepare yourself and all that. It was a little more of that and the less like, be cautious with the throwing.
To be honest, man, Ben, you did our boy Evan dirty. He's a 3-time guest of the show. That's our guy. And he already's got to deal with the filth of Burns and Beam and Dolander and everybody else. And then here you come throwing 105. Like, my guy didn't get much sleep last season. You know that?
Yeah, no, it was honestly awesome how excited he was every time. It really honestly fired me up a little bit more. He would text me like the night before, like if we knew I was probably going to pitch, he'd be like, "Dude, I can't sleep. I'm so excited to catch you." Stuff like that. So it was pretty awesome. And I mean, he'd give me like some fist bumps on the mound. He put down a fastball and like be shaking his head. Like it was awesome. He always fired me up when I was pitching.
Did you and the guys, because we had most of the pitching staff on early in the season before, a lot of these things happen. Did you guys ever really just tell Evan how proud, you were of him because, he never caught before. And then here he was out there, catching for the best arms in baseball?
Yeah. I mean, we were always just kind of, it was crazy how he transitioned into a catcher so well and how great he did handling the staff. And I mean, honestly, I think above all, what helped was how good of a person he was and how good he was at communicating with the pitchers. I think that really helped, just kind of that transition and help him get close to the pitching staff and know all the pitchers. So I mean, we definitely told him many times, and I still tell him like how awesome it is throwing to him and how well he did this past year.
Yeah, absolutely. So in that same game that you get clocked on that, you threw 4 innings of scoreless work against Auburn, who was a ranked team. So, not only do you throw this 105.5 mile an hour fastball, but you absolutely go in there and dominate against a big time team. So how did it feel, not just throwing that pitch that fast, but, the overall performance, especially against an SEC opponent like that?
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, it was exciting to go multiple innings like that and maintain the velocity. And I mean, I think that honestly really helped me in the draft, just knowing that I could maintain that velocity for multiple innings. And then, I mean, beating Auburn was awesome because they had beat us the day before, and it was a 1-1 series. And we really wanted to win that game. It was kind of chippy the day before, so getting to win that game was awesome. And I mean, we were all fired up after that one. I think it was another momentum builder, just kind of throughout the season.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let's get into the postseason. It was only for a third of an inning, but you did get to experience that regional crowd, be on that mound in Lindsey Nelson against Alabama State. We talked about the feels of the first time you got out there against Georgia Southern, but now we're talking about regionals, packed house. What was that like?
Yeah, that was awesome. It was really exciting. Just the fan support was super awesome to see. I mean, they were into it the whole game, every game. I mean, there was people in the watch party outside. The whole place was packed out, so that was awesome. And I mean, we were really kind of feeding off that energy, I felt like, the whole time. And I mean, it was awesome to be able to pitch. And I mean, it was only a third of an inning, but it was awesome to get out there and see that from on the field and get to feel that energy from the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, it was like you said, it's only a third of an inning, but it doesn't matter. The opportunity just to go out there and feel that electricity, no doubt. So, you get to pitch against Notre Dame in Super Regionals. You throw another 4 scoreless innings, no different than Auburn, but the damage had already been done. But nonetheless, you were talking about that crowd. Obviously, I mean, you had a packed out crowd inside. There was 6,000 people outside. To come in on that stage, what was like, obviously, like I said, I know the damage had been done before, but it doesn't matter. You're pitching in Super Regionals and you go out there and you throw 4 scoreless, talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I was also just kind of trying to do what I could to keep in the game. I mean, trying to get out there and pitch as long as I could and give us a chance to come back. We kind of started climbing back. I think it ended up being 8-5, the final score. So we kind of started climbing back there at the end. We had a chance the last inning. Just trying to save the bullpen, trying to give us a chance to get back in. And I mean, having that crowd there was awesome, just keeping us in the game. And I mean, they never really left, even when we went down 8-1. They never left, and they were just there supporting us the whole time. And then we went out the next day and won the game with them. And I mean, it obviously we fell short on the third day, but the crowd was there the whole time and behind us the whole way.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously things didn't work out. We even had Jack Brannigan from Notre Dame on here, the guy who absolutely had the weekend against you guys. And he himself kept it real. He said, y'all are the best team in baseball. I think anybody who watched college baseball knows y'all are the best team. And the best team doesn't always win it all. We know that. We've actually seen it since 1999. Whoever's ranked number one hasn't got it done. So, I think there was no doubt that y'all were the best team. It was just, unfortunately they were the better team that weekend, as he put it. But, I just want to commend you and your teammates, man, because as an LSU guy, it was absolutely fun to watch y'all the entire season across the board, pitching, hitting, and I hate that it came up short, but I don't regret any minute that I watched Tennessee baseball. And so, man, just shout out to you and your team for last year.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it was definitely an unforgettable season. I mean, obviously we would have loved to win the whole thing and finish it off like that, but I mean lifelong memories with those guys for sure.
And you kind of talk about that and not winning the whole thing. And there was a lot of speculation, not just with you, but with Drew and with Evan and a bunch of other guys about potentially running it back a following year to try to get that natty with Tony. And how much of that was true for you? Did you speculate, maybe I do want to come back for another year, or was it just straight up business?
No, yeah, I mean, it definitely made the decision a lot harder. And I mean, any chance I could get to play for him, I'm obviously going to consider it. But I mean, obviously I had to do what was best for me in the end. But I mean, it was definitely a decision where I would have been completely happy going back for another year and playing with him and playing with those guys. And I mean, my brother's coming back this coming year, so that would have been exciting to play with him. There's definitely a lot of things that went into it that made it a lot harder of a decision.
Hey, Mike, I'll tell you this, I said Tommy White was the last guest. Daniel will tell you straight up. He said, no joke, Ben, this is props to you, because Tommy White does nothing but drop bombs. He said he didn't want nothing to do with you, and he was glad you moved on.
I would too. Have you seen the kid? I mean, gee, it's a cheat code. Honestly, you're something that's created in the show or Madden. It's insane. But in all seriousness, go ahead, DB. My bad.
I was gonna say, it just hit me. We just put all the pieces of the puzzle together. Tommy White didn't go to Tennessee because he didn't visit. He didn't go to Tennessee because he couldn't be, teammates with Ben Joyce. So he was like, I'm going to Tennessee if that dude comes back, because I don't want to face him.
Yeah.
When he decided to leave,
funny.
he went on over to LSU. So there it is. Boom.
I think we got all the icebreakers tonight. It's insane. Yeah. We were dropping bombs. We're dropping bombs. But in all seriousness, we get back to the show, kind of talking about it. You're looking at the third round, 89th pick overall to the Los Angeles Angels. For you, where were you in that moment? Who was with you? And what was the entire draft process like for you?
Yeah, I was at my house with my parents, my brother. A couple guys from the team were there. My girlfriend was there. It was just kind of a smaller group of people. And I mean, we were just hanging out, and there was a chance I was going to go the first night. But that didn't end up working out. And then going into the second day, I mean, that day moves a lot faster. And it was kind of like I had to have my phone ready at all times. And I got a call. It was like, hey, be ready. Like, you could be coming up here. And then like 2 picks before, I got a call. It was like, you want to be an Angel? And I was like, I almost like couldn't talk for a second. Like it was kind of like, it was one of those surreal feelings where I couldn't get any words out. And I ended up being like, yeah, let's do it or something. I don't even remember what I said. I think I blacked out a little bit. And then,
Broncos.
And then, I mean, just having them all there was awesome. Hearing my name get called and just going through that whole process was pretty crazy.
Now, Ben, I've heard a couple people say a couple of different things. I'm buddies with some guys on the Chicago Cubs, and sometimes they're talking to the head coach. Sometimes they're talking to obviously the GM. For you, who gave you that call? Who notified you that you were going to the league when you answered that phone?
Yeah, I got a call from the GM, and my agent was the first one to call me, and then the GM called me right after just to congratulate me and stuff. But yeah, I got the call from my agent. He was like, "Be ready here, like your name's gonna get called." And I went back there, and I didn't tell my parents who it was or like what pick it was. I was like, "Hey, you guys might want to like watch this one." And then it ended up hearing my name get called. So that was a pretty awesome experience.
That's sick. And it's always a plus when you don't have to talk to Joe Madden. But that's my personal Cubs. That's the Cubs fan talking. I'm not getting anybody in trouble. DP, I'm not getting anybody in trouble. Wow. It's okay. I said it. I take full responsibility for it. But you have been with the AA officiate Rocket City Trash Pandas. I mean, Jim already mentioned it. We talked a little bit about it before we started airing. One of the best and most prestigious minor league baseball. Everybody knows them. Even if you don't watch minor league baseball, I mean, you know about the Trash Pandas. So for you, You pitched in 13 games with 13 innings, pitched 1-0 record with 29 strikeouts, a lot of video clips around social media, and it seems like there is even more movement of the fastball. Has it been a change in the grip, or for you, really, what's been going on mechanically to really just get your stuff going the way you want it to go?
Honestly, I didn't change anything mechanically or grip wise. It was more just I think going from college to the minors, it was almost a more of a fine tuning that focus. And I mean, you can't get away with the pitches that you get away with in college as often as you do. So it's just kind of fine tuning that focus and figuring out like where you need to throw your fastball, where you need to throw your slider off your fastball, and pitch sequencing and stuff like that. I feel like there was just a lot more mentally that went into it, and that kind of led to more success in the long run.
Without a doubt. And obviously you come from a prestigious pitching school in college at Tennessee, and they're doing amazing things over there. But for you, kind of being in a major league type system, really understanding that you have some of the best coaches at the helm with you. What really goes into that, and kind of just staying with working with the coaching staff? Talk to me about the secondary pitches and where you have been progressed most, and what you need to do to improve on the most, and how can they really help you with that?
Yeah, for me it was awesome. I mean, right when I got there, they started working with my slider grip. They're trying to. I mean, this is something I've kind of wanted to do, but try to get my slider to be just a little bit harder, tunnel my fastball a little bit better. And I mean, they're working with the slow motion cameras and the analytics and everything, just kind of telling me what I need to do and to try this grip, and it's just kind of a feel thing, but. I mean, they're working with me every step of the way and show me a bunch of different grips. And then after I pitch, I get to see kind of the results of it and where it plays best in the zone. Just a lot more analytics that go into it at that level. And I think it's going to be beneficial in the long run to have those as I'm working on the slider. I think it's almost where I want it to be, but I mean, there's definitely a little more work that can go into it.
Without a doubt. And speaking on a little bit more work, obviously, there's a lot of different things guys can do in the off season, but really it's all about you and how much work you want to put into it. So until spring training arrives, what are you doing yourself that you think you can do to help benefit your game?
Yeah, I mean, I've already started my off season lifting routine. I'm going through that at Tennessee, and one big thing I'm focusing on is mobility and just trying to stay loose and stay healthy. I think that's going to help me a lot more in the long run. And then obviously one of my main things once I start throwing off the mound is working on that slider. I really wanted to be where I needed to be by spring training, and that's kind of probably my big goal for the off season.
Without a doubt. And just throwing it out there, Jim and I kind of already hinted at it. I'm sure you got the best of the best, but we got a lifting specialist over here in DB that I'm sure if you came down to Tampa for a little bit, he'll get you right.
Get you right. We'll take you down to the University of Tampa, and we'll put you through the Performance Center, man. It's legit, man. It's
hey, that sounds awesome.
Line.
Let's do it.
Yeah, man. I do have a question in regards to working out, though. What is it? Obviously, with the stress fracture and the Tommy John, do the Angels organization, do they put any limitations on what you should or shouldn't be doing? And do they develop the program for you, or is this something that you're strictly doing on your own, and you and a couple people that are working together in the off season?
No, they actually don't put any limitations on me from that. We did a whole assessment when we got there, just kind of seeing how we move and what maybe deficiencies we have or what we're strong in, mobility wise and strength wise. And then they kind of built a program off of that. So it's something that I follow throughout the off season. That they'll just send us every week what our lifts are and videos if we need to see them of what we need to do. But it's very individualized and just I didn't get any limitations or anything. So I guess I didn't see anything too serious from those two injuries.
Gotcha. It's always nice when you can have a little bit of freedom and flexibility, and they kind of put together the things that you like to do. One of the things that, makes the most difference, in my opinion, is when you're in the weight room with like-minded people that have a similar focus. Is there anybody now that you're working with that are maybe players that you played with at Tennessee, or anybody else that you're working out with in the off season over there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a pretty good group of pro guys over here right now. And now that Coach Q's back, the old strength coach that he left for this past season with the Cubs and then came back this year, so he's been over here. It's been awesome to have him back, and I mean, we got guys Drew Gilbert here, Jarrell Ortega, Mark McLaughlin, Lane Thomas, just a bunch of guys just coming through, working out, and it's cool to just see everyone kind of doing their own thing, but also trying to get what they can from other people and like see what they're doing on their program that they like, and just kind of pick the minds of everyone that's over there. So it's a pretty good group of guys.
I mean, before long, University of Tennessee is going to have to build a training facility just for pro athletes, because you guys are building a stable over there. You know, especially with baseball. But Ben, man, it's been a pleasure. But before we let you run, man, we got to play a game. Same game we play with all our guests, dude. It's called This or That, and it's very simple. I give you two options. All you got to do is pick one option or the other. You can't say both, can't say neither. Just be decisive and pick whatever one comes to your heart.
I like it. Let's do it.
All right, coming out the gate, slow softball question. Would you rather have pizza or tacos?
Tacos.
Taco. It's Tuesday. Did you have tacos today?
I actually did not. I would have loved some tacos though.
Yeah. I gotta ask, man. You know you're a young guy. You obviously though you're in very good shape. You know Mike is a young guy. He's in okay shape.
I'm all right.
But Mike's a guy who's gonna hit Taco Bell. Are your tacos from Taco Bell? Or are you a little more upscale than that?
I'm sorry to disappoint you. I don't think I've eaten Taco Bell ever in my life.
I ain't even mad at it.
Hey, you said we talked about cheese too much, Daniel, but my man's love for McDonald's threw me a little bit, man. You can't be a pro athlete eating McDonald's. I can't believe he came on here talking about how much he eats McDonald's.
Hey, here's what I'll tell you. I bet Michael Jordan is all about McDonald's.
I bet Michael Jordan's 60 years old, so it's okay to be all about McDonald's, though.
I'm telling you, when he was in his prime, he was all about McDonald's, because they're cashing. He's cashing checks from them dudes.
100%.
So, next question: daddy hat or fur coat? Got to get rid of one. Can only keep one. Which one are you keeping? Which one are you getting rid of?
I feel like we gotta keep the fur coat. I mean, those pictures were probably the highlight of every hitter's day when they hit a home run, having that fur coat on.
I heard that fur coat was going into the University of Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame.
Not that one, Daniel. Tony V said that one needs to be thrown out.
Yeah, they might need to wash it first. It's a little. They might need to get it dry cleaned or something.
It's got a little funk to it, I bet.
Yeah.
All right, Ben. Are you a beach guy or a lake guy?
I'm gonna have to say beach.
Beach. Would you rather? Who has better bombs? Who hits better bombs? Gilbert or Beck?
Oh, I'm gonna make someone mad here. I'm gonna say Gilbert, because I feel like he puts the bat flip with it too.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
I don't know. I don't know. Mike Honcho puts the middle finger with it.
yeah, that one wasn't even a bomb.
Yeah.
Now, Ben, can I ask you this though? How important is the walk with the pin? I mean, the flip is easy. Flip is easy, but how important is your strut? Because Drew goes crazy with it. He walks like a pimp.
I think that's the most important part. I think that's why I picked him, just because like he does the walk and then flips it. It just goes together so well.
Let me tell you who I'm not strutting on. It's Ben Joyce, because I'm not taking 105 off my backside.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, but Jim, that's the thing. You don't got to worry about you. You got to worry about the guy after you. It's not a problem. It'll be fine.
You know what? Finally, I'm glad. I'm glad that this question came up. All right. And I need total honesty. I feel like you've been honest with us this whole time. All right. If Jordan Beck or Drew Gilbert are on the other team, all right,
mm-hmm.
and they do what they do off of you, what are you doing?
Murder.
I mean, if they hit a home run off me, I'm probably not gonna. I mean, they beat me, like they can kind of do whatever they want. But I mean, if I beat Drew Gilbert, I'm probably gonna give him something back. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think
I
think it's great that Dolander said when he transferred in from Georgia Southern that Drew Gilbert made sure to remind him every day that he hit a home run and bat flipped on him.
Yeah, I actually remember him doing that quite a few times.
It's I'm gonna tell you this, Ben. I hate when athletes waste these given talents. And sir, you have a talent of throwing 105, and that talent comes with striking people out and retaliation. So don't waste it, man. Don't waste it.
That's true.
BB
That's
is trying to
true.
say is it's okay to be a part of the beam team. You can hit a couple guys here and there.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
No, hey, I've hit a few guys, but I can't say they were on purpose.
Hey, maybe hopefully it won't come to that.
As a matter of fact, Daniel, I think I got a problem with old Ben. Didn't you hit Cameron James on the elbow in Starkville?
I did, yeah.
Man, that's our little bro. Why are you going on the elbow too? Be careful, dude.
Yeah, I actually saw him after that. I forgot who he was with, but I saw him after that. He was like, dude, that was not fun or something like that. But yeah, I mean, it was hot and my hands were sweating. It was nothing personal.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
I mean, there ain't an Evo shield made that can keep that from not hurting. I mean, jeez. All right, back to the questions. Would you rather play wiffle ball or would you rather play dodgeball?
Dodgeball.
I'm on your team. That's all I'm gonna say. Would you, or who's more iconic? Kirby Connell's mustache or Ben Joyce's fastball?
Oh, I feel like we're gonna have to go Kirby. Everyone knows that mustache.
I mean, I feel like you broke a world record.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to go with my fastball. I was just trying to be a nice roommate. I roomed with him last year.
The fact that Ben comes on here and says his fastball is more iconic, but Camden came on here and said his hair was better.
Very true.
That doesn't shock me.
Would you rather go to a concert or a sporting event? Now, I'll put this in parameters for you. It could be like bucket list concert versus bucket list sporting event.
I'm probably gonna have to go bucket list sporting event.
All right. What is the bucket list sporting event?
I'd have to say like a Super Bowl. I'd like to go to a Super Bowl.
Who is your favorite NFL team?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
He said that earlier, yeah.
I guess they beat the Bucks this weekend. I guess I just tried to.
We're not gonna go to Super Bowl this year, that's for sure.
No,
hey, you don't believe in Money Mitch? Gee, that's crazy.
No.
No.
The only one.
You don't even believe in him.
You know what it is?
Are you kidding me? Mike wants him back in Chicago.
You know what it is? You know what it is? It's the facial features, man. I mean, he just looks too much like me. How can you not root for a guy like me, you know?
Very true.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. Would you rather be a hero or a villain?
I mean, I feel like I got to go villain because I guess that's what everyone thought we were at Tennessee. So,
I'm shocked you didn't go hero because I was going to ask you who your favorite hero is and why is it Evan Russell? Because that dude is
oh my god,
truly
he would love that. Wow, I need to text him that.
I mean, when you throw we mentioned that the names that are on the bump on a day-to-day basis that guy's having to wake up and willingly go, you know what? If I'm going to be in the lineup, this is what I get to do today. Can't wait to catch 103. Oh, followed up by 104. Oh, follow that up with 105. And then you know what? I'll just drop in a 91 mile an hour changeup just for fun.
Yeah.
It's funny that we bring Evan up because unanimously across the board, Ben, when we've asked that question to your teammates, they've all said villain too. They've all embraced it. Not Evan, though. Evan said he doesn't like people not liking him. So he wanted that hero role.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny.
Ben, have you ever crossed up Evan or any catcher
I
and
haven't
thrown a
crossed him up,
fastball when they thought something was coming, something else?
no, I haven't crossed him up, but I actually told him about one time he gave me a sign and I came set. And I was like, I feel like he said fastball, but I don't know for sure. And I just threw a fastball. And I told him about it after, and he like almost punched me in the face. He was like, "Are you kidding me?"
He's like, please step off next time and just like
Yeah.
let's just redo that again.
That was the closest I've ever come. I never actually crossed him up.
Gotcha. All right, last question, and this is a question that I keep trying to retire, but it keeps finding its way onto my script.
It's important.
I guess this is an important question. Would you rather spend 10 years in a coma or 5 years in jail?
I feel like 5 years in jail.
Oh, Ben.
Because at least I could be like doing something. I don't know.
Jim, how many minutes are we in right now?
Would 10 years just go by like that fast if you're in
Just like that? You just wake up.
But hold on. I put that on here for a reason. I put that question on here for a reason, Mike. His coach, Tony V, talked about reading an article talking about what it does to your body to lay there for 10 years and actually get up. And he gave a little bit more in-depth insight. And so he said for that reason, he'd give him prison.
Now, Ben, I want to also remind you what going to prison for 5 years could potentially do to your body. And there are many different ways you can go with that.
Here's the thing. All his teammates have basically chose prison. So they're going to all be in there together. They got each other's back. They're going to be
lit. It's going to be lit. Drew's going to be talking shit. We're going to have Ben in here throwing the punches to fight everybody off. I mean, think
about Ben loves the weight room. He'll get it done in there.
Right. I'm going to try to get as strong as I can for a couple months.
Ben just said he wasn't throwing at nobody in retaliation. And then he's going to turn around here and go, yeah, I could make prison. No problem.
This is prison talk, bro. It's a different mentality. All Ben needs is one can of corn to buy from the prison cafeteria, and he just has to threaten everybody to throw 105 at him, and he'll be straight. He'll be fine.
Very true. Very true. Man, I tell everybody this, Ben. I'm 38, and I know at my life, in the stage that I'm at, I know what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. I've never been to jail, but I can tell you this, I would not be good at that at all. But what I am good at is sleeping and napping and resting and laying down. So give me the 10 years in a coma. I'll wake up. I'll figure it out. I ain't going to jail. Just not. That ain't for me.
Yeah, that's very fair. I completely understand that.
All right, Ben, man, it's been awesome. What a great story. We are glad and blessed to be able to finally get you on, man. Anything you want to plug or promote before you get out of here?
I do not have anything. Actually, I do have one thing. And it's on my Instagram and my Twitter. It's called Alex's Lemonade Stand. It's to support childhood cancer. There's a link in my bio on Instagram. If anyone wants to, feel free to donate. That'd be awesome.
That's dope.
I got you. That's awesome. That's a couple weeks in a row we've had really character guys, and just a testament to you, a testament to really your parents and how you were brought up, man. That's good shit, dude, man.
Thank you.
Ben, I will help everybody out. If you want to know about Ben Joyce, the person, the athlete, if you want to go over to Alex's Lemonade Stand, you need to go on over to Instagram, type in Ben_Joyce08 in the bio. He's got Alex's Lemonade Stand. You can go, you can donate, you can support pediatric cancer, man. You can support the cause. You can, just see what Ben's up to, man. See what it's like to be a dude. You just a day in the life of a dude that just throws a casual 105 from the bump. No big deal. No big deal at all.
Exactly. Also, thank you.
Yeah, man. Also, they can check you out. Trash Panda Baseball. Hopefully, at some point, Angels MLB will get to see you on there as well. Ben, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate you coming out, man. And if there's anything that we can do for you along the way, please reach out to us.
Awesome. Thank you. I really enjoyed it. Thank you all.
Absolutely. That's Ben Joyce, everybody. If you like hearing Ben's story, or you just like hearing us average Joes talk X's and O's, please like and share the podcast on Facebook, retweet us on Twitter, listen and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. As always, comments, ratings, shares, likes, feedback, all that stuff is much appreciated. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Tomorrow night, we're back again, but this time we're going to switch gears. We're going to be talking professional fighting with MMA stars Jesse Parker and Keon Lucas. This has been the End Off the Bench podcast. As always, remember, strong bodies, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We out.